What's going on, beautiful people? D-Lo Brands back for another video, and today we are diving in to the fastest way that you can begin vibe coding. And the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to show you exactly how I rebuilt my entire company website through Firebase. And first off, I'm going to show you guys what my website used to look like. So this is my old website. I built this in Framer. It was a template and I just changed it for, you know, the information that I needed. I really like this template because of the white lighting and the black and the font choices. So I really like the look of this website, and even the background. I love that it moves and things like that, but I didn't necessarily know how to get that over. So what I did was basically take a full screenshot. So if you don't know, Go Full Page is the extension that you want to have if you want to take a full screenshot of a website. And so all I did was take that screenshot and say, give me a prompt to recreate my company website. So the first version that it gave, and I'm going to go ahead and begin opening the project now. The first version that it gave was based off of the Views Agency brand Genome. So the brand Genome is basically what I use whenever I'm creating for a new client or myself, a new business, whatever. I create a brand Genome that allows AI to know exactly how to, design for it or what to say and what not to say, things of that nature. So it came out with this prompt and I said, give me one specifically for Firebase Studio and Firebase hosting, making sure that, I'm thinking of the future. What do I want to do with this app? I'm probably going to need more than just hosting. So it gave me the prompts, and mind you, I do not know anything about this stuff. I've learned it over the last few months of me really deep diving into vibe coding, but I'm still pretty oblivious to much that is going on. So what I did was take this full prompt, and if we scroll to the top, so bam, I just took that whole first prompt, brand styling, page layout, content, and I pasted it in here. And I also pasted the screenshot of my old website so it knows kind of what to do. So it came up with this plan and we executed the plan, and it came out with this first version that I was very impressed with, but of course it was far from being done. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll it back to the first version. So this was the first version of the website that it gave me. Of course, everything that needed to be here was here, but it was mostly placeholder and, generated by just the AI thinking of what should be there. But if I'm being honest, this is a complete website. All you would need to do is change the pictures. So I, progressively worked with the bot and honed in on the styling of the website. And so we added a logo cloud, we added, different fonts into it, and also changing a lot of the pages. So this was the view project page. I just took a screenshot of the old project page from my website, pasted it in there. I also gave it the image of a background. But what I will say is that adding images into Firebase is not going to allow the AI to input that image into the website. You are going to have to go to switch code, and this is what I really like about Firebase. It's basically VS Code just with another interface similar to Lovable, where you can, type prompts and get things done. But what you're going to want to do is have basically, let me run back the changes. All right, so basically, if you want to add images into your Firebase Studio project, you're going to have this public folder and input things into here. So let's say we have, so this is a visual that I am using on the black card page. And if I want the actual bot to use this image, all I have to do is copy the name of this and just go back to the prototyper and say, this image to the hero section and you just paste that with a slash at the beginning, and that is going to be what it needs to be. Now, what I will say, something to keep in mind, is that when you're using images and you're using folders, you want to include the folder inside of the file path. So on this page, this is my home page, I'm pretty sure. I choose a logo cloud. Let me see. It's pricing plans projects. So if we go down to the projects, which has built this all out for me, right here you see /Meraki dash cover image 1. That's because you want to have the correct place in all regards for your website to point at and show the images. And inside of here, this is basically your kind of backend system a little bit. Firebase is really going to be your backend system, but as far as you vibe coding and building out a website, this is your backend system. You have all your files, you have your images, you have your favy icon, you have your styling, you have everything that you need. And based on how you build out your project with Firebase, it'll create either components for the sections or, you know, project data to be able to create dynamic pages for the projects and things like that. And then we also have, you know, our Firebase instructions, which these are covered because I don't want you guys to use this stuff. So I wanted to kind of talk about why this is the proper first vibe coding platform, because, you know, if you use something like Cursor, you can build out a project, but that project may not have as much function as you're expecting. And so if you see over here inside of Firebase, we have tons of options. We have authentication, which is basically allowing people to log into your website and you making sure that certain pages are behind authentication or whatever it may be. Firestore database, which is if you have a form on your website and you want to track those responses, then you can use Firestore database, as well as many other use cases. One of the other use cases that I have for the Firestore database is actually so we're actually going to go into here, go to dashboard, and I can show you guys what I'm talking about rather than, I guess my website doesn't want to work, but let's go to dashboard. So if I try to go to /dashboard, it's going to go to the login screen. So this means that it's gated behind that, and that's within the code, but also with authentication. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here, and we're going to see the black card page. Well, it looks like we're having some problems. So I wish I could open my actual app, my website. So we're just going to use this other link. If we go to black card, you see the black card page. We have pricing, and this definitely didn't start off like this. But if we go to log in, and I think this will be a great teaching moment because this is error handling. So what I'm doing is taking a screenshot of this. I'm going to go into my project. I'm going to get this screenshot and say fix this. So now it's going to look through everything. It's going to say, okay, this is the problem, whatever it may be. And this is what I've been doing this whole entire time, pretty much. I mean, if I want a change, I just say, make this change. But this has definitely taken a good amount of time. I've even used other inspiration from other sites that I've seen. So when it gave me the initial, it's not a function. Let's fix that. And I'm pretty sure this is basically, I may need to use Cloud Functions for this because it's saying this isn't an actual function. And yeah, see, it's absolutely broken my site. So I'm definitely gonna have to go in and check that out. But what I will say is that this is a very raw way of building, and if you aren't careful, you can really, you know, be very destructive in your creation of your website. So of course you have these over here, you know, it's updating kind of the commits on a change by change basis. And one of the things that you want to make sure you do is have your repository on GitHub for this project. So whenever you create a new project, what you want to do is create a repository on GitHub so that not only you can use that project on different IDEs, but you can manage the source and manage the versions better. So if you guys saw, there are a ton of little commits down here. That's what they're called, are commits. And you also have different ways of kind of fetching it and also which branch you use. So doing things like this are going to make your creation process much more constructive so that, you can go back and click here and say, okay, what changes were made, or do we want to roll back to this? We can do things like that. So be sure to make it as constructive as possible. But a little bit about domain connecting. So if you're using app hosting, which if you have dynamic content, meaning more than just static content on your website, you're going to want to use app hosting. And you can just connect your domain through here. You add a custom domain, you type in your domain right here. It'll give you the things to put inside of your DNS records, and you just connect it very easily. Now, I'm not sure why my domain is not pointing. I'm going to have to look at that as well. But, troubleshooting things like this are what you're getting into if you begin vibe coding. But I would say Firebase is definitely the easiest place to begin vibe coding and also getting the bang for your buck, because I made this website and I'm probably going to pay less than $1 per month to keep it up and running. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, there's something wrong with my website, but you have this authentication, and if we go to the black card page, I'm going to show you guys the other pages. So we have this logo cloud that's actually, moving. That's a custom thing that, you can get built in, but we see this image right here, client logo 6. That means that an image path isn't there, or it's done incorrectly. So we also created these cards to show our favorite features and also projects. This is another example of a image not done correctly, and I just have to redeploy. I actually fixed that, and it was because I did not have the folder within the path for this image. So make sure you're doing that. But if we go inside of any of these projects, you see this layout that shows details about the project, images, things of that nature, and then you can go on to the next project. Of course, this still needs a bit of work as well, but as far as a working, ready to go website, this is perfect. And so I think that it's really cool that we can not only have our static website, but I can build out things like the black card dashboard, which I'm trying to show you guys, but I'm not sure what's going on with the authentication. But this is the black card page, same logo cloud. Features right here, we have a nice dynamic pricing card where we can do monthly or quarterly. Feature section, a little few images. Yeah, I have to redeploy my site. So we have some testimonials down here. Then we have a FAQ. And if we go to log in, then we have the login page, of course. So temporarily, I'm going to unenforce that. We're going to reload this. Go back inside. Okay, so I just probably did about 30 minutes of troubleshooting, and basically I just added something to my website called app check, and this is actually supposed to prevent, bots or unauthorized users from performing actions on your website. And I set it up very, very simply, and it needed a little bit more setup than what I did. So this is the dashboard that I was able to build out, and it is functional. If I can get a card in here, create flyer, create blue flyer, 15 submit request. Yeah, so there's a lot of backend functions that I need to build out for this, because I want multiple clients to be able to, create cards and drag them over. The functionality is there. It's just I need to build out the functionality of okay, we're creating a new request. It's going to show up in the queued or in the drafts, and it's also going to show up on my master dashboard, which I'm building out here as well. And we also have this billing page where, clients can check out their payment method or how many subscriptions they paid already. And I think that this is a good start for the dashboard. But all in all, if you are looking to get into vibe coding, I would definitely check out Firebase Studio. Check the link in the description. It is not an affiliate link. This is literally what I've been using to not only work with clients, but build out my own little projects. And it's completely for free. So I think that you should definitely take advantage of it and just, instead of getting stuck at something, basically, I just said, I said to ChatGPT, I keep getting this error, and it helped me fix the error. It gave me all of this stuff, and all I did was literally copy and paste what I needed, gave it to the bot here, and it fixed everything. So yeah, this is vibe coding currently, websites, and we can get into apps in a different video, but I just wanted to introduce you into one of the easiest ways to get into vibe coding. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. There is no reason why an employee shouldn't be able to make a new web app or a web page that can help them with their task, or it's no reason why a student can't create a web page to study from in seconds. So you can ideate these things, delete them, archive, run with what you like the most, and just experiment, learn about it. I've been in here for a few months just checking out things, learning everything that Firebase has to offer. And like I said before, it is a very raw way of building out websites. So keep that in mind that a lot of things can go wrong, a lot of bugs can pop up. And that's why, sometimes you opt for a platform like Shopify or Squarespace that has all of these things wrapped up inside of it. So thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. It is the first major milestone of many on the way to 1,000 subscribers. And we'll definitely be bumping out the information, making sure that you guys are getting the non-technical knowledge that you need, so we can be forefront in this age of AI. But this has been D'Lo Brands, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.